Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Let's quickly go through the key highlights from last week and what I'll be watching in the coming days. Last week was packed with earnings from some of the biggest companies in the market. Microsoft reported strong results with the revenue coming in at around $81 billion, beating expectations. However, despite the solid numbers, the stock fell about 10% after the report. The market reacted to slower cloud growth and very high spending on AI infrastructure, which raised concerns about margins in the near term. So fundamentally, the business is still strong, but expectations were extremely high, I believe. Then Meta Platforms delivered another strong quarter. Advertising demand continues to recover, user engagement remains high, and management clearly doubled down on AI. Meta confirmed that they plan to spend tens of billions of dollars on AI infrastructure, data centers, and chips. And the key takeaway here is simple. Big tech is still all in on AI and they are willing to spend aggressively to stay ahead. Then ASML was one of the most important reports last week for the semiconductor industry. The company beat expectations, driven by strong demand related to AI and advanced chips. More importantly, ASML gave positive guidance looking ahead to 2026, projecting revenue in the range of 34 to 39 billion euros, which was above what market was expecting. That's a very strong signal for the long-term outlook of the semiconductor sector. Apple also reported a very solid quarter. The company posted a record revenue of about $144 billion, up roughly 16% year over year, with earnings up close to 20%. Apple saw record results in both iPhone and services, which tells us that consumers are willing to spend on premium products even in a higher rate environment. Then Visa, Mastercard, and American Express all reported solid earnings. Payment volumes and cross-border spending continued to grow, and travel-related spending remained also strong. While many payment stocks have been under pressure recently and their share prices have come down, these reports show that consumer activity is still stable and very much present. And my takeaway here is that despite recent weakness in payment stocks, the fundamentals still look healthy. Because of that, I would expect some recovery in payment-related companies, and that's one reason why I'll be watching PayPal's earnings next week very closely. On the energy side, ExxonMobil and Chevron reported solid results with strong cash flows and disciplined spending. So looking ahead, next week is especially important. I'm interested to see the Simon Property Group. It's a great way to track what's happening in real estate, the consumer traffic, and financing conditions. With expectations of future rate cuts, I want to see how management talks about rents, occupancy, and borrowing costs. Then Tuesday will be a big day with AMD reporting earnings. This will be key for understanding how the competition in AI chips is developing. After Intel and ASML reported, and after all what Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, has been saying, I believe the company will have a quite promising report. I'll also be watching Pepsi, which gives a good view on everyday consumer spending, and the stock forms a dividend part of my portfolio, so that's why And PayPal, as mentioned, will be important for the digital payment space, and I'm curious to see whether all the recent analyst downgrades have a clue or not. So we'll check it out. We'll also hear from Alphabet, where advertising trends, cloud growth, and AI monetization will be in focus. In healthcare, the Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly will report as well. The obesity market remains one of the strongest long-term themes, and it will be interesting to see how demand and competition are evolving. Then Amazon is another key report. AWS growth, retail margins, and AI investments will matter a lot. The stock is widely considered to be as the most undervalued stock from Mag 7. So we'll see how it goes. Also, I'm watching Linde as a global industrial indicator. We'll have a look at it as well. And finally, a more personal pick is the company Aker Solutions. It's not widely followed, but it's an interesting small engineering company from Norway, and it's in the energy and offshore sector, and I'll be definitely keep an eye on its results. Then on macro side, last week was relatively calm. We got a consumer confidence data which showed a cautious but stable consumer. Then the interest rate decision came exactly as it was expected. Rates were left unchanged at 3.75% with no major surprises. Then initial jobless claims came in slightly higher than expected, but nothing alarming. From Europe, German GDP was better than the forecast, and German CPI came in higher than expected, showing that inflation pressures are still present in the European Union or in Germany. Next week will be also packed with the macro events. We'll get S&P global PMI data, both manufacturing and services. Then we'll see initial jobless claims again, which remains a key labor market indicator. And the Bank of England interest rate decision will also be important for UK and also global markets. There was also an interesting political signal last week. President Trump mentioned name Kevin Warsh as a potential future chairman of the Federal Reserve. So recently, Warsh has been very critical of the Fed for keeping interest rates too high, and the market sees this as a signal that rate cuts could come sooner rather than later. And that would be a positive for consumer-focused companies, then real estate and small cap stocks, and in economy in general. So the big picture is this. Earnings show that the economy is still holding together. AI investment is definitely accelerating, and consumers are still spending, but more carefully, let's say. At the same time, markets are increasingly focused on interest rates and what central banks will do next. Next week could bring a lot of new signals, and that's what I'll be watching. And thanks guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next video, and please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you did not do so. Have a great day.